The Bigfoot. I'm sure a lot of you have heard the name, but if you haven't, the Bigfoot, also known as a Sasquatch, is a cryptid mythical creature that basically looks like a giant ape man. They range from 6 foot to 9 foot tall and they're native to North American forests. So I wanted to do a complete timeline starting from the very first Bigfoot sightings all the way to current day. Do I personally believe in Bigfoot? To be honest, I don't know. There was a species called the Gigantopithecus that did exist like 200,000 years ago. And it does look very similar to a Bigfoot, so it's not impossible that that had descendants, but I feel like if the Bigfoot did exist, it's probably extinct now. I'm sure with some of the videos we analyze, it might be a guy in a gorilla suit. I'm sorry, I'm not a Bigfoot expert. I'm just going to show the most influential Bigfoot sightings, and then it's up to you what you want to believe. If you're only interested in the video evidence, then click to this time. Okay, so let's start. 1,000 years ago, there are many stories from the indigenous cultures of North America. For example, the Yokuts tribe of America would describe giant hairy creatures that lived in the forest. There's a petroglyph that's dated to be over 1,000 years old that was discovered in 1882, and the picture does resemble a Bigfoot. This is the oldest evidence of something resembling Bigfoot I could find. Another tribe named the Alutiiq people said that their version of Bigfoot, which was called the Nantinak, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, they said it decreased the population of Portlock in the 1940s. Bro must have been terrorizing that village. 16th century, both Spanish explorers and Mexican settlers would tell stories about dark watchers that were large creatures that lived in the forest that would stalk their campsites. Similarly, in Mississippi in 1721, a Jesuit priest who was living with the Natchez people reported stories of hairy creatures that would scream in the middle of the night and steal livestock. It's interesting to note that these were 3 completely different parties that had very similar stories that were staying in the same area. It's interesting. 1924, the Ape Canyon incident. In 1924, a news story was published that described gold prospectors that got into a full-on fight with ape men in Mount Helens. Now this wasn't a Bigfoot sighting, this was a full-on battle. So this fight started when instigator Fred Beck found gorilla men hanging around near his cabin, and he decided to shoot one with a rifle. Later that night, the ape men returned with ammunition and backup and started throwing rocks at the cabin. The cabin doors started shaking, the roof was damaged, and apparently Fred Beck actually got knocked out by one of the ape men. So all 5 of the miners survived through the night. Now, do I believe if this story actually happened? I don't know. But if it did happen, Fred Beck shot first, so it's on him. Like, the ape men were just minding their own business, just chilling, and he had to shoot. But this news story was very influential because this was the first time that the idea of an ape man entered the mainstream media. 1958, the first Bigfoot incident. Jerry Crew was a bulldozer operator from California who one shift found foot tracks in the mud that measured to be 16 inches long. He ended up telling his co-workers about it, and when he told them, the co-workers were like, hey, that's weird. We actually found footprints similar to that in different work sites. And they also talked about an oil drum that mysteriously moved by itself, which weighed 450 pounds, and none of them had touched it. So after they all shared their stories of finding tracks in the mud, they started to call this thing Bigfoot, because the tracks had, big feet. I know it's crazy. They then decided to talk about it in the newspaper, and once they had their interview, the Bigfoot phenomenon was started. Now, unfortunately, this story does have a bad ending. So Ray Wallace, who was one of the co-workers of Jerry Crew, actually was found to have wooden carvings of footprints in his basement. This was a troll by Ray Wallace. Good one, man. 1967, the Patterson Gimlin film. A bit of context for the filmmakers. Robert Patterson was a Bigfoot believer who visited Bluff Creek in 1964 with other Bigfoot believers. When they were there, they found fresh tracks in the mud, and once Patterson saw this, he was obsessed with finding Bigfoot. Like, he started spending all of his money on Bigfoot expeditions, research to find Bigfoot. He even wanted to make a movie about Bigfoot where cowboys would reminisce about how they experienced the Ape Canyon incident. But unfortunately, no one really wanted to invest in the movie, so he ended up having to rely on volunteers. One of the volunteers being Gimlin. Gimlin personally said that he doubted the existence of Bigfoot, but if they were to run into a Bigfoot, they agreed that he wouldn't shoot it, which is pretty nice of him because Fred Beck would never do that. So in 1967, the two of them set out on horseback in Bluff Creek. As they were exploring, they found an overturned tree with its root system exposed. They decided to go around the tree, and once they did, they saw a log jam with a creature crouching behind it. Gimlin had said later that seeing this figure put him in total shock because he was a non-believer. When they saw this figure, Patterson dismounted his horse, went to his backpack, grabbed his camera, grabbed his rifle, and then ran off towards the Bigfoot. By the time he had gotten off the horse and gotten everything, the Bigfoot had moved about 120 feet away. Patterson ran after the Bigfoot and hit record, and this is the video that he got. Despite it being grainy, crappy footage from like 60 years ago, you can still make out that the fur is moving on its own. And if you look at the legs, you can kind of see the fat like move with each step, which I feel like would be very hard to replicate if it was someone wearing a suit. Like if it was a gorilla suit, when you step, I feel like there'd be a bit of slack with the suit. So if it was faked, they would have had to have a skin tight suit. But yeah, to this day, this is still probably the best footage of Bigfoot that's ever been found, according to Bigfoot experts. 1994, the Paul Freeman tape. Let's just go ahead and watch the video first.
Can't see much up through here. I hear the brush popping and stuff. Oh, there he goes. Jesus.
I must say I'm not sold on this video because basically he's standing right in front of an 8-foot beast and his reaction was, oh, there he goes. Like he's pretty chill about it. So another thing to mention, Paul Freeman did get exposed for faking footprint casts in the past. So the video still could be real, but he does have a history of faking stuff. So just keep that in mind. 2001, the Marble Mountain Bigfoot. Youth group leader Jim Mills was on a campsite and then he started to see a figure on the mountain line.
Walking down.
Oh my word.
Bigfoot's walking down right now.
Uh-huh.
See, he's standing taller. Uh-oh! I'll get back to camp.
We see something moving on the hill above.
Run!
Where?
Where is it? Is it like where
It's
the
stopped.
trees, like right on the other on the
Yeah.
right side of it?
No,
Wanna go?
it stopped and looking
Where?
at us.
It's kind of looking at us.
I don't see it.
Moving
The
now.
tree is. It's to the right of him. It's walking that way.
What tree?
Trees.
Do you see?
Okay. See that King's Castle?
Is that
Look down the
kind of
hill.
little skinny thing?
That little thing.
No, Jim.
Yeah. On
See
the right
one
side of
right
the
up,
tree.
straight up above the patch of snow.
Right under that big wall.
There could
Yeah.
be something that's
The bigger patch of the 3 patches of
you
snow.
know,
Over here?
something
Yeah.
that's evaded.
What about it?
He's walking up
civilized
right on the
today.
ledge. There he is. See him right between the 2 trees
Yeah.
right now?
Oh
See?
yeah, he's walking down.
See, he's between the 2 trees right now.
He's right in between the 2 trees right now. The
He's
2 trees.
screaming at us something. Get out of my
Probably looking
camp.
at us,
Get
watching
out of my
what we got.
camp.
He's probably saying, hey, there's 15 Bigfoots down there.
That is,
Look like a person.
it does not look like a
Doesn't
person.
look like a person.
Its arms are way too big. Look at how long the hands hang down to the...
How can you
Oh,
see
yeah,
from...
they're down to his knees.
Shh! Don't make fun of Sasquatch.
The video is very grainy and you can't really make out anything besides just a silhouette. Even from that distance, it does look really tall. Also, if that is a person, bro, what are you doing out there? 2007, the Allegheny National Forest Bigfoot. 2007, Rick Jacobs was a hunter who set up a camera on a tree that had an automatic sensor, so whenever an animal walks past, it takes a photo. This was set up in the Pennsylvania National Forest. Now, after a while, he ended up catching this image. At first glance, it does look like a Bigfoot that's hunched over. It's also kind of hard to tell what it is, like it could be anything. At first, I couldn't see it, but people have said that it's actually just a bear with mange. So according to Bigfoot expert Paul Maheta, he says it's a juvenile Sasquatch. But if you look at the second picture, yeah, you can kind of see it could be a bear. But if that first one is a bear, that bear has long legs. And then there's the third image that I found. This picture, I have no idea what the hell I'm looking at. It has 2 hunched down arms. It looks like it's kind of sitting on one leg. I have no idea what the hell this one is, but yeah. 2012, the Provo Canyon Bigfoot. Now I found 2 separate encounters with this Bigfoot, so I'll just go ahead and play both of them.
Yeah, where is it? I can't see it. What's it doing? Does he think it's a bear? Yeah, we probably should be too close to it, huh? Oh, cool though. Let's go. Let's go.
So in the first video, you can see a Bigfoot that's crouched down in like the trees and stuff. And then he stands up and this guy looks absolutely massive. The next one, again, you can see like the same Bigfoot basically. They look the same size with the little amount that you can see. And he starts like throwing, I think, branches at the person. You know who else said that Bigfoot likes to throw stuff? Fred Beck. So maybe he was right all along. These two videos are definitely interesting, especially the fact that they were two different occasions in, it looks like an almost identical spot. 2013, the Mississippi Bigfoot. So a bit of context for this video. According to the description, a hunter was out looking for hogs. So he basically had his hunting cameo on and he buried himself in the shrubs so he could hide and hunt potential hogs that walk past. While he was hiding, he started hearing footsteps and then that's when he started to record this. This one's very interesting because he's so close and it's so clear. And also at one point in the video, you can hear the Bigfoot like snapping either the branches or the whole tree. And if you listen, he has a bit of strength to it. 2014, the Independence Day Bigfoot. So not a lot is known about this video. I tried to research, but I couldn't really find anything besides just an upload. So let's go ahead and play it. So in this video, you can clearly see a Bigfoot, like an adult Bigfoot, carrying a baby Bigfoot. But there is one point in the video where you can see its face like up close. Definitely looks like a Bigfoot, but it's up to you. What do you think? This last photo is from 2017 and I found it on Reddit. So I couldn't get much background on the picture, but when I saw it, I did almost shit my pants. So I want to show you as well. So you can see a Bigfoot face looking through the window. And this one in the corner is especially creepy as hell. Can you imagine just waking up at 3 AM and seeing that? I was doing more research and I wanted to include these really quickly. So first is the Bigfoot throwing a tree. It's super blurry, but you can still see something throw a really long tree and he throws it quite far.
Pretty murky figure, you know, just sort of peeking, just barely visible at the tree line.
The terrified men watch in horror, all witnessing the same disturbing event unfold.
Even if this was fake, whatever threw this would have had to been really strong to throw it at that distance. Next is the Jesus Payton photos. If you want to listen to the full story, the link is in the description. But pretty much, he was camping with his friend in a Bigfoot hotspot when during the night they felt things outside touching and playing with their tent. At first they saw handprints pressing against the tent, which they managed to get a photo of. And then he managed to get a photo of the face that was just outside of the tent. This last one is a call that came from within the woods. Again, this could be any kind of animal, but whatever it was, I don't want to meet it. What the fuck was that? I heard some shit there. So that was all of the key Bigfoot evidence that I could find. In conclusion, I'm more inclined to believe the Native American stories over these video recordings. Like, I found a Reddit comment that basically said in the 1970s, they were friends with a Native American and they shared the story once they were asked about it. So basically one day they were on a native reserve and the truck got stuck in the mud. One of the ladies could actually speak Bigfoot. She started speaking, yelling out into the forest, and then 5 Bigfoot emerged, helped them lift the truck out of the mud, and they just went back and went on with their day. And that was normal. I know it does sound a bit crazy, but I kind of believe it. For the most part, they weren't going to the newspapers and saying, hey, look what happened. That was just a story that happened, and it's kind of just part of their culture, part of their experiences. Because in comparison, you have guys like Fred Beck, who apparently shot a Bigfoot and then his friend came and knocked him out. Okay, mate. But yeah, I do believe the native stories a lot more. Anyways, that's all that I found. If I missed anything, let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, maybe you could like the video or share it with your friends. I don't know. Thanks for watching. See ya.